Finding Freedom. Step 1. Healing Emotional Trauma for Women by Ryan Orrock. In the last week, 4 different women have come to me and said almost the exact same thing. I'll illustrate with one of them. She was a beautiful and competent doctor from a Central European country. She told me, Ryan, every time I talk to my ex, I freeze up. He manipulates me. He bullies me. He walks all over me. I don't know what to do. This didn't make sense. She was a doctor, right? She had to be confident and empowered. Unfortunately, not. Executives, doctors, professors, New Age leaders, even those teaching and leading around relationships and sexuality, it's all the same. So many of these women feel a massive disconnect between what they've been able to accomplish in the world and who they are privately in their intimate and personal lives. Our society is about as sick as it can possibly be. We're more shut down than we imagine, and our romantic and sexual relationships are where this all plays out the most. Then she asked me, what's wrong? How do I fix it? Now, many of these women are coming to me with diagnoses for their exes or partners. He's gaslighting. He's a narcissist. He's manipulative. He's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. While some of these things may be true, that doesn't tell her how she got into the situation in the first place, nor what she can do to avoid it in the future. It's not like bad men are going around with stickers on their shirts saying, "Hi, I'm a narcissist. Don't date me." I had another solution for her. After more than 10,000 hours of work with women over the past decade, there was only one thing I could tell her. I could read it in her body language and her energy. She was almost trembling visibly, avoiding eye contact, breathing shallowly. I'm sure she didn't look like this with her patients, but in this discussion, it was obvious. Trauma. Most of my work, especially lately, has been focused on trauma, around sexual abuse, emotional abuse, violence, name-calling, invalidation, extreme punishments as a child, neglect. We call this PTSD sometimes, but what it is the result of trauma. When you try to do things, but you keep finding yourself stopping yourself, becoming confused in the middle of a goal, moving somewhat forward and then slipping back, afraid to ask for or get help, not knowing who to trust, finding yourself stuck, procrastinating, coming back after a few months again only to get stopped in the same place again, it's time to think about trauma. You can think of it this way. When a child is learning to walk, they keep trying until they succeed. Sure, they fall down, maybe even cry, but they don't engage in negative self-talk. They don't judge themselves. They don't give up. They just keep going. As adults, many of us don't have this resiliency. We give up, we quit, we procrastinate, we judge ourselves. We become mired in depression or anxiety. Why is that? Trauma. Our healthy responses and resiliency have been squelched through our childhood experience. Emotional trauma means that something impacted us so hard while we were young that we couldn't fully process it at the time. It becomes a soul wound, and we get stuck in a certain place until the emotions around that trauma and the beliefs cemented in us by the experience, such as I'm no good, I don't deserve this, no one can love me, are cleared. I'm working with someone now who was intensely abused as a child, to the point of torture. She denied and ran from her childhood for as long as she could. Her health and her relational issues were so big that her life was in danger. People constantly walked all over her. She was a doormat, a people pleaser. She finally had no choice but to confront her childhood trauma and heal it. This is not always a purely pleasurable experience. Trauma remains because we have not yet felt and experienced that original experience. In other words, the pain, emotional, mental, and sometimes physical, has been repressed. The issues are in the tissues, they say, and they are stored inside the body, resulting in illness and energetic, emotional, and relationship chaos. Trauma work is mainly about holding presence and space for someone else or yourself to feel and process what you were not able to feel in childhood. It doesn't always need to be very complex, and if we had normal, healthy relationships where we weren't acting all the time, pretending and running from ourselves, it would be a normal process of life. Yes, there are trauma therapists. Some of them are even quite good. If you can get one, and even better, get it paid for by insurance, wonderful. Many people can't or don't know where to find one or how to know if one is good or whom they can trust. In my upcoming course, I will show you how to overcome trauma by feeling your feelings and examining your past beliefs so that you can clear them. Once you do, life begins magically giving you what you want. It's amazing how much of our experience is dictated by our inner beliefs. And I will share with you how you can both work with a friend or partner to be each other's presence holders through healing old wounds and revealing your true self again. I will also show you how to heal old emotional content yourself. There will never be enough therapists. In the world that is rapidly manifesting, we will need to know how to do this for each other and ourselves in order to reach our goals and, though I hesitate to say it, perhaps just to survive. I want to provide a few final words of encouragement. Whatever happened, it didn't kill you. You are still here. You have already survived. You don't have to fear the past. You can do this. You can face this. And a life that is more rich and blissful than you can imagine lies at the end of the journey for you. It's worth it. All my love. Ryan Orrock.